is your one tip for anyone who's done a puzzle mystery quilt?
I would say study the colorways that are coming out. Know what you want. Hop on there as soon as that goes live and grab your colorway. That'd be my best advice. So before it sells out.
That is actually a fantastic tip because, all right, so you've done this a couple times. What is the one tip you would share with someone as they're putting it together, as they're assembling it?
I would say chill and have fun with it, because you don't have to do all the math and the thinking. So just enjoy the process and take your time, because it's quick anyway. I mean, just take your time with it.
My question for you. So you've done a lot of batiks with us. And I know we get this feedback like, oh, it's another batik colorway. It's another purple colorway. And people are like, they feel like they're doing the same thing over and over again. As someone who's sewn a lot of the purple batiks, do you think they're the same every time?
No.
Okay, good. That's the right answer.
Lavender was a lot of purples, altogether. This time around, I like the contrast and the variety of colors that were included in this. It wasn't just a bunch of purples. The white jumps in and pops out so much, especially here in the center. The blues and that sort of thing there. I was a bit worried about the batiks for, I think it's whatever one Wild West is. I thought that'd be very similar to Lavender, but having seen the clues, that's not the case as well. So yeah, as someone that's done it several times, I do see a nice change. So if you do enjoy purples, there are wonderful options, and I've loved working with the batiks.
Yeah, and I think this is one of those things. So you know the colors, right? Because we give you that in the wheel. And every now and then I will say, okay, so this fabric is more prominent than the others. But you really have no sense for what proportion each one of those fabrics is actually going to be. And I can't tell you, okay, the lightest color in your colorway is going to be the center tree element. Because as we've seen, like Enchanted has the darker elements as the tree. So I can't really tell you which is more prominent than another. What is your one insider tip you would share with people?
I would say have fun, and then join the Cotton Cuts Facebook group and Sheila's Mystery Quilters Facebook group, because I have the best time posting in there. And I go there all the time. I love seeing everybody post their progress with the flat Nancy's and just talk about the joy that they're having sewing the quilts. So those are two communities that if you're not already a part of, like, you definitely have to join them.
So what is your one tip you would share with a new detective?
This is something that I struggle with when I'm doing traditional quilting, is ironing at the end and pressing my seams to where they nest. And that's one of my favorite things about getting the instructions and the clues in the mail, is that you include that. And then when I'm putting it all together, I know if I have the placement messed up because the seams won't nest. So it's like a quick indicator of like, oh, you need to go back and look because these should be nesting perfectly. And so that's been like one of my favorite like saving graces when sewing my puzzle mystery quilts.
What is the one single different tip that you would give folks?
So everybody took mine. Everybody took all of the tips that I had. So my tip to everybody is just do it. Just buy the puzzle mystery quilt. Don't doubt yourself. Don't question yourself. Just do it.
We wanted to bring you a very special live. We know you guys have tons of questions. We know you guys have lots of things that are burning, and we wanted to have a special episode that we could share with you so that way you could get all those burning questions answered. So this is for you guys. I have a ton of stuff on my list that Paula is going to ask me to go through because that's what Paula does. And so we're going to just go ahead and jump right in and get started. Hello, everyone. It's cold where all of you guys are. Yes, it is cold where we are here too. There's a thermostat. It's you can actually see it. Oh my gosh, yeah, that thermostat hanging out right there. It says it's like 64 degrees here. So it's a little cold inside our shop, but it's okay. It is totally fine and fantastic. Okay, so all right, welcome everybody. So we are going to talk about the sneak peek of the new colorways for Flyway. So Flyway is our latest puzzle mystery quilt. Our puzzle mystery quilt program, we're going to get into what all of that is and why it's fun and why it's awesome in just a second. And I'm going to ask everyone to hang with me to the end of the show because we are going to be giving away a small puzzle mystery quilt to one lucky person who goes to the right place and asks the right question. So good morning. I see tons and tons and tons of people here. Good. I just keep saying good morning, guys. Sorry, that's me and my 9:30 a.m. programming. It is well 1:30 here. Let's see here. Math Geek is saying the whistling song has become really overused. She's laughing. I feel like it's kind of our signature. It is also royalty-free music that we can use, but that is duly noted, Math Geek. We will put that in the hopper, and I will have Paula work on that. Okay, so first question, what is a puzzle mystery quilt? Okay, so a lot of quilters out there know what a block of the month is, right? You walk into your quilt shop and you see a quilt on the wall, and it usually has 12 blocks, boop, 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 and you sign up and you come back each month and you get the next block and you sew it together, and you come back in a month and you get another block and you sew it together. We all know what a traditional block of the month is. Our puzzle mystery quilt is a little different than that. And so one of the big differences, you don't actually get to see the finished design, that boop, 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 right? So it's not something that you're going to come in and you're going to be able to see the finished design by the time that you start sewing this project. It's not blocks. We call them puzzle pieces. And so each month, what you're actually sewing together are strips and squares and triangles that'll then be jigsaw puzzled together at the end to make the finished quilt. So you're not making a standard 12-inch by 12-inch block and then repeating every month. Some months you'll be making long strips. Some months you'll be making, odd rectangles. You're all making different things, and you're labeling them each month with a letter, like usually 1A, 1B, 1C, and then you set it aside. And then the next month you do 2A, 2B, 2C, and you set it aside. And at the end, you attach it all together. So you take one piece from month 4 and put it next to 6 and put it next to 7, and then you have your finished quilt. Another way that makes it different is it's not just one colorway. So I've been in that situation where you walk into the quilt shop and you see a beautiful block of the month, but it's only in one colorway. And so we knew that wasn't going to work for us. We always offer multiple colorways because sometimes you're sewing for yourself, sometimes you're sewing for someone else, and you want to have that option to be able to pick and choose which colorway you want to sew together. And so we definitely do that for you guys. We're actually going to show you all of them here in a minute, and I'll talk through each one and why it was picked and why it was selected to be part of our program. And then this is also a mystery. So we talked about the mystery a little bit at the beginning. You don't see what the end is when you start, but this isn't a typical mystery where we tell you to go find paint chips or we tell you to find focal print and a coordinate, and you have no idea what to balance, and you might pick that neon green in your stash, and when you make the quilt, it doesn't look great together because it's not coordinated. All of our mystery quilts are chosen from the same collection, and they're all meant to coordinate, so that way not one print kind of outweighs another that you put in there because it's a mystery and you don't know what it's going to look like. We take some of that out of the equation, so that way you don't have to worry about picking a print that you're not really sure about and it doesn't really work, and all of a sudden you put a lot of work into a mystery quilt that you don't like. So that's why it's awesome and amazing. But you know what? I kind of skipped over the best part, which I know everybody loves, and that is that it is completely pre-cut. And so I want to make sure that I'm clear when I say pre-cut, because I know if I'm on a website, on another quilt site, they'll say pre-cut. And what that actually means is they're sending me like a 1/4 yard with the fabric or a 1/2 yard with the fabric, and I still have to cut it myself. When I say pre-cut, I mean soup to nuts. It's pre-cut, guys. So I have this lovely quilt, this example of a clue here for you. I'm going to kind of move the logo sticker off of it. But this is what I mean when I say pre-cut. I mean, it's got the triangles, it's got the squares, it's got the strips. It has everything that's been pre-cut for you. Most of it is cut on our precision die cutters. And so, those triangles are going to be the same every time. Some of the strips we do on a combination between a die cutter and a rotary cutter, but we have templates for all of that. So that way the mistakes are super minimal. Inside each clue, this is a month-to-month clue. There are some prepaids as well, which we'll talk about in just a minute. But inside each clue, you're actually going to get instructions. And so our instructions are really, really, really simple. We try to keep them as easy as possible. So you get a picture of those puzzle pieces I talked about. Here's all the die cut. I have to do this backwards. Here's all the die cut parts and pieces that you're going to get in that clue. And this is it. Here's the instructions. It's really simple. We keep it to one page. We keep it very simple. We've got pictures with all of your pressing instructions. Pressing instructions are something we hold very near and dear to our heart in our puzzle mystery quilt, because we love that our seams always nest. And so I know that's something that I've worked on projects before where I've consistently just pressed to the dark side or pressed to whichever fabric I've chosen. And then you're sewing through 16 layers of fabric before you know it. we do a fantastic job making sure those pressing instructions are clear for you to make sure all of your seams nest together to make the quilt top as flat as possible. All right, and so then you label it, and then the hardest part is you have to set it aside and not lose it, right? I think that's there's a lot of chat in our Facebook group, Cotton Cuts Fabric, about what do you do with your clues, and so a lot of people put them in that clear bag I just showed you. Some people put them in their prepaid box, which I will show you in a second. My favorite, which I heard in one of our very early mysteries, is you go to a pizza restaurant and you ask them for a clean, unused pizza box. And a lot of people will put them in that, and then they mark the pizza box with what the mystery is. But the problem is you have to hold on to it and save it because it's a 10-month program. It's not 12 months. It's not 6. It's not 8. It's 10. We like 10. 10 is a good period of time because 10 gets you through a good portion of the year, then gets you 2 months to get caught up, and then the next cycle starts again. And so we're starting our spring cycle. We have a spring cycle and a fall cycle. And so we start signing up in December. I think the hardest part is waiting from December until February when our first clues actually ship. That gives our team time to die cut over 1 million triangles and squares that are needed to make sure that you guys get what you need that first Friday in February. And so I know it's the like, I signed up really early. Has it shipped yet? Has it shipped yet? Has it shipped yet? Always, always, always for our spring cycle, it ships the first Friday of the month starting in February. Carlana is saying a 12 by 12 iris box. That's absolutely a great idea. A lot of people use the Michaels and Joann's, the 12 by 12 kind of scrapbooking box that has a snap lids. They use those to keep their clues in as well. Okay, let me see. Did I hit everything she was talking about? Let's see here. So, she wants me to make sure that in this program, all of our quilters are called detectives and you receive clues. And so I know that there's a lot of kind of inside baseball whenever you're joining a new group or joining a new program. But when we say detectives, that's you guys. We're completing a mystery. And so we like to just have a little bit of fun and call you detectives. And we call each of these clues. And so there's clue 1, 2, 3, and 4. We call them clues. Each individual clue in and of itself does not necessarily reveal the mystery. And I know that there's some like, hey, I just posted my clue 1. Did you give away the mystery? No, the actual mystery comes at the end when you guys actually put all 10 of your clues together. That's what the mystery is resolved. We call these clues little pieces of evidence. And so for those of you that just participated in the mini mystery, that's what we called it. It's a little piece of evidence. And so you're showing everybody what your evidence is when you sew your clues together. And it's just a fun way in which we keep it more than just stitching pieces of fabric together that have been cut apart into triangles, right? So we just keep it fun. Let's see here. People are saying that they keep them in the box we ship it in, keep the clues in the plastic bags, and keep the bags. Yes, there's a lot of different ways to store these, but that is the hardest part. And it makes me sad because ultimately, every time that you do this, at least one person reaches out to us and is like, I've misplaced all 9 of my clues. And we can usually help get them caught back up. But guys, definitely keep track of them. 10 months can be a long and a short time. All right. Paula also wants me to say that this is great for all skill levels. And so this is something that I know whenever you see a pattern, you're like beginner friendly. And as a beginner, they weren't necessarily all very beginner friendly. I'm not going to lie. There were some things that were in there. I had a beginner friendly pattern that had Y seams in it. To be clear, Y seams are not beginner friendly. This project is meant to be very, very beginner friendly. This is meant to be all straight stitches. There's no Y seams. Everything is a scant 1/4 inch or a consistent 1/4 inch for you. There's literally no need to have a rotary cutter, a ruler. There's no need to really measure anything. My children have completed mystery quilts when they were 6. Literally, all I had to do is set them up on the sewing machine, put the little piece of painter's tape so that way they knew how to keep the fabric, and they were off and running. It is meant to be a program that can be enjoyed by a lot of people, including those that are more experienced, that have made a lot of quilts, but just want something that they can just grab, sit, and sew and not have to do planning and coordination and washing and cutting and sourcing. If you just want to sit and sew, this is a fantastic project. When I had my corporate gig, I would have maybe 30 minutes a month, and this fit right into that schedule for me to be able to sew a program and have a completed quilt at the end. All right, let's see here. So it's also a large program. So I know we always talk about this is one of the largest this is the largest mystery quilt, and it actually is. For most quilt shops, usually about 100 to 200 people participating in a block of the month is a really big deal. For us, there are 4,000 people that complete our puzzle mystery quilt each year. That's a lot, guys. And so that's something that it is a lot of people. It is a large community, and it is a great way to connect and meet with people that you might not know or have access to or ever meet any other way. Let's see. Cheryl is saying she's doing her puzzle mystery quilt by hand. That is very aspirational, but it is also very achievable because you've taken some of the time away from cutting and doing all of that prep work. You actually can sit and enjoy this by hand. None of the seams are very long. I would say, Cheryl, you can counter this, but I would say probably the longest seam is maybe 10 or 11 inches, but not even that frequently do we do it that long. Most of the time, it's triangles that are stitched together. It's very, very easy. Tishua, no worries that you're a little late. We're just getting all the background stuff that I know you already know. Let's see here. Janice is asking, are the cutting instructions available if I want to make another quilt? Right. So this is something that it's always something we want to do that, right? I haven't talked necessarily, but this design comes from Sheila Christensen. She owns a quilt shop in New Zealand. She's the one that does all the design work for us. She's the one that creates all the clues. And so when it comes time for the cutting instructions at the end, this isn't a traditional pattern where we can just take the 10 clues and staple them together and hand it to you and you can make it again. It requires a lot of reformatting and a lot of work to actually get those cutting instructions. I think probably, Janice, the closest we can do, and we'll show you when I show the pre-cut, is the actual inventory of parts. And that inventory of parts is probably going to be the best way for you to be able to recreate it later. It's not necessarily something that we can tell you to go buy 4 yards of fabric and cut it in this and cut it in that and cut it in Y. It's just, it's not a program that's structured to do that. I'm going to have Paula grab my water really quick because I can feel my throat is starting to get a little scratchy. I am recovering from a sinus cold. And so, guys, I spent Thanksgiving with my nephews, who I love, but they are little petri dishes. They're 4 and they are 6, and they carry germs like nobody's business. And so our house is experiencing we just had a fantastic Thanksgiving, and then I have a sinus cold. And so, all right, let's see here. Linda is saying they're easy, but they look they are so easy and they look complicated. Linda, you are absolutely right. By the time you get to this finished quilt, I would never have the time to cut like 200 or 300 triangles like we do for you and be able to, thank you, Paula. Paula is the best. I would never have time to cut that many triangles and be able to do this. But the fact that we do all that cutting for you, you are able to make such a beautiful quilt from it. Let's see here. Yeah, Karen, 68 degrees in Southern California is cold. You must be getting the hat and the gloves out for sure. All right, let's see here. So our new theme, so we have a theme every time we do a puzzle mystery quilt. And so the theme is literally just that. It is a theme. It is meant to differentiate that design from the next design and from the design that came before it, just to give us kind of a means of gathering. So that way, when I'm posting a clue online or we're talking about Flyway, everyone knows exactly what mystery we're talking about. And so the theme can sometimes correlate to the design. As we saw with Carnival, there was kind of a loose kind of merry-go-round element in it that was in the middle. Same with Tree of Life. There was a little bit of an internal tree and an external tree with some roots. And so the theme is loosely correlated to what the final design is going to be, but really it's just a means to get us all talking about the same quilt. So that way, when you're in the Facebook group and you say Tree of Life or Flyway, everyone knows what you're talking about. So why did we, little germ factories. Yeah, Matthew, my nephews are germ factories, little petri dishes. So why Flyway? And so Flyway, I have to be careful when I say that. There is no A in there, gang. And I told Sheila from the very beginning, as soon as we said Flyway, we would spend the next 12 months saying fly away. It is Flyway. And Flyway is actually the scientific term for the migratory route that birds take. And so it's all the journey. So as the weather changes and as the seasons change, the migratory routes that birds take north and south. And so for those of you that have been participating in our naming in our Facebook group with the different colorways, we've named them based upon different migratory birds that represent the colors and the colorways. When we first started thinking about this, there was a little bit of an element in the design of some migratory movement, and we were going to do animals in general. But we actually are doing them So it's sorry, brain foggy. But we isolated it to birds. And so that's why we came up with migratory birds. And so all the colorways are named after birds. You're going to see those in just a minute. Let's see here. So Paula wants me to next talk about, yeah, Piazza was beautiful, Lindsay. I did like that one a lot. Let's see here. So Paula wants me to talk about all the kind of features and benefits that come with the mystery quilt. And so I want to make sure that even if you guys have done these with us before, this section is important because there are some new things for this mystery that you're going to definitely want to pay attention to. Let's see here. Sorry about that. All right. Let's see here. So the first is that if you prepay for the mystery, now we've been doing this for about 4 times now. If you prepay for the mystery, you receive all of your fabric at once in this lovely box that I'm about to show you, and shipping is free. It doesn't matter if you're in the United States, if you're outside the United States, shipping is going to be free for you if you prepay for the mystery. Now, if you do month to month, there's going to have to be a nominal charge added just to cover that shipping expense. Guys, yes, Debbie, hold on to that thought. I'm going to be telling you fabric positions. So if you do month to month, there will be a nominal fee added to cover shipping. Guys, shipping has gone up about $3 to $4 a package since we started this program. So we are going to be adding just a little bit of a charge if you do choose to pay month to month. It's not going to be a lot. We still try to absorb a lot of that expense, but the way the world is working, guys, we have to make sure that we can still do this program for 10 years to come. All right. So one of the things people really like about the prepaid versus the month to month is that we ship you the fabric all at once. And so this is what our lovely box looks like. On the side, you can actually mark like what the mystery is, what the colorway is that you're working on. It gets wrapped in tissue paper, and inside each one, here's that inventory I was talking about, Janice. So if you wanted a cutting guide, this is probably as close as we can get to one as easily as possible. But what happens is it's packed like a package of Legos. So if you guys haven't played with Legos in a long time, they actually come labeled like this with a 1, this one's a 3, this one's a 2. And so we send you all the fabric at once, and then we email you as well as post in our evidence locker the instructions, that one piece of paper I showed you. So you can just grab this and you can start sewing the day the clue is released. People like it. It's here. You don't have to wait for the mail. You don't have to worry about if you've moved and getting your address changed. You don't have to worry about any of those kind of month things. You just got to make sure you don't lose this box. And so you can grab it. All the fabric you need is right here. You can sew it together and have everything you need to just kind of keep up at your own pace. Let's see here. Auntie Al Homemade is saying advice is to take your time, read through the instructions all the way through, and keep your seams consistent. Yes, Auntie Al, that last statement, keep your seams consistent, is my mantra for every PMQ. Make sure you're using the same sewing machine and make sure you're consistent the whole way. Let's see here. So what was I talking about? So yes, and so we're inside each box. It comes with everything. Now, one of our most common questions we get is, what is this? That people always wonder what is in this Clue 10 box. And so I'm actually going to open this one up and show you guys. So Clue 10 includes everything that you need to do any sort of finishing strips around the outside of your quilt to get it to its size, but it also includes the binding fabric. And so I know people get to this and they're like, gosh, there's these really big strips and then this big hunk of fabric. This is what you need for the binding for your quilt. So the PMQ that we supply comes with everything you need to do the top as well as the binding fabric. That is definitely a question we get asked often and frequently is it just the top? It is the top as well as the binding. Okay, let me see here. Also, if you prepay, you will have the option to be able to add, just like we did last time, a large spool of coordinating orifle thread. We are just going to tuck that right in your box. Boop. Another reason to prepay as well. We are going to be offering quilt backings as well, as we've had the past couple times. And so I know a lot of people like to get something that coordinates with the back. And so we offer backing kits at the same time. We'll hold on to those and we ship those to you at the end. As I've said like 1,000 times so far, it's hard enough to keep track of this box, much less 5 or 6 yards of a beautiful piece of fabric. So we'd like to ship those to you as close to the end as possible, so it's right delivered at the point in which you need it. Let's see here. Lindsay's asking if we can label the pieces of fabric in the Clue 10 packets. So Lindsay, so this we've struggled and I love this, but we also struggle with this because I am pretty adamantly keeping adhesive away from fabric, especially when we mail it to you. So maybe what we could do is maybe consider a different way of packaging it. So it might be just a little easier to identify what it is. I mean, perhaps maybe we list on the label that goes outside the package what's included inside of it. That might be more helpful. So, all right. So right now, will the backings be 108s? So we're investigating 108s. It's not going to be in time for Flyway. Cutting 108s is actually very challenging. And so we want to make sure that we're able to cut them as effectively as we can. And so there'll be no 108s this time, but take a look for the next one. We are going to be doing 108s then. Right now, everything is 44, 45 inches wide, standard width of fabric. And the backing kits will be on the website by the end of the day today. So you can get online and take a look and see. We usually allow backing kits to be ordered through about clue 2 or 3. And then we cut those off so that way we can get everything ordered and cut and prepped in the shop. I did skip one thing, guys, sorry. So for the prepaids, so if you choose to prepay for the mystery, we will be cutting that off as soon as clue 1 ships. So everything that is ordered after clue 1 ships will only be month to month. And so we're doing that for a couple reasons. As I've mentioned in some of our lives, the those whole quilts can sometimes take one person one whole day to make if they are made outside of the main process. And so what we want to do is to be able to cut those off. And so if you do sign up late, your only option will be month to month. So if you want to prepay, we're encouraging everyone to do that as early as possible so we can get your boxes out to you as quickly as possible. But after clue 1, the only option left will be month to month. Let's see here. So Pat is saying she hates printing. Let me put that back to the team. We might be able to offer an option where perhaps we can have it as an add-on that will mail you the clue each month. But Pat, let me take that back to the team and we will update everyone later. Okay, we talked about quilt backings. We're also doing border kits. And so these are what a border kit looks like. And so a border kit is fabric that is in your colorway that you add to make your quilt top bigger. And the dimensions to make it bigger are all on the listings. The backing kits are on the website right now. But so this would be a large backing kit. It includes strips to make an inner border, an outer border. And then because you're making your quilt bigger, you need more fabric for the binding. So all of that's included in this kit to make it bigger. This is a small border kit, so it has 2 coordinating strips of fabric that you've added to the outside, and then an additional binding strip because you're making it bigger. Let's see here. I know a lot of people are asking about the paper. Let me take that back to the team. We might be able to get back to that. And Matthew is talking about the 108. And I think the challenge we have with the 108s is that the options for 108 backings are more limited. We can usually get more coordinating fabrics. It doesn't have to be the designer collection if we don't do the 108. So let us work on that for the next mystery, guys. Okay. Oh yeah, so this is one of those new things. So for those of you who have been doing this a while, I hope you're paying attention because we have been so motivated by all the creativity in the borders that you guys are making and that you guys are putting into your quilts that we are going to be offering now a Stitch It border kit. And so what this is going to be is it's going to be a small collection. Consider it about 20 pieces of the most commonly die cut pieces from the inside of your quilt. We're going to make a cute little package and be able to mail that to you guys to integrate into the design for your own border. We're not going to tell you what to do because that's not how Stitch-Its work, but we're going to give you the pieces that you can put in whatever design you want to be either used in the border or perhaps, as I've done in the past, bringing a design element from the front onto the back. And so you're going to get 20 pieces in about the same ratio they are for the front of the quilt. So that way you guys can bring the design elements into other elements and even customize your mystery quilt more than you already have. We are motivated by you guys, and so we're trying to give you as many tools as possible to let your creativity keep going. So when you see those Stitch It border kits for the PMQ on the website, definitely take a look at them. I see Dawn. Dawn, fantastic. So Dawn, this idea actually came from Dawn. She kind of was a catalyst to kind of kick us through on this one. So thank you, Dawn. I'm glad that you like and appreciate that. Okay. Of course, we're going to have our oops kits. So we love these little oops kits. These little oop kits, they're a fat 1/8 of all the fabrics from your quilts. You get all 6 of the prints. That way, in case there's an accident made, you cut something. Excuse me. If you use your seam ripper, blah, all the things that could potentially happen. Perhaps you're traveling and you lose a clue. You can use your oops kit to help get you cut and back to sewing. We always replace parts. Like say, for example, if we make a mistake, if you make a mistake, we're always going to send you those parts and pieces. But say you're super impatient or you're at retreat, you will have these fabrics at your disposal to be able to cut and make whatever you need to do as you go. These guys have also been known to be used in those borders like Dawn suggested. Yes, Pat, nobody ever makes mistakes, right? We're all perfect up in here. This is not a place for quilters that, you know, live vicariously. Yeah, right. Let's see here. Let's see here. So yes, so this is actually from the Saloon colorway. So I see a question about which colorway am I showing. I'm actually sewing Saloon from Wild West. We have the fabrics for the new mystery. They're hanging out in boxes over there. We haven't had a chance to cut them yet, but if you watch social media, Paula is going to jump on those boxes as soon as they're open and start showing pictures. Let's see here. Shelly's saying it'd be fun to make a quilt from the Oops kits. I think that'd be fun too. I know a lot of people make pillows and other accent pieces again. Linda's asking, are we going to get matching snippets again? Yes, we will. Those snippets for Flyway will not be made available until February, though, right? We don't have snippet scraps yet. Like I said, the boxes are still hanging out over there, so we'll start that in February. Stay tuned for the live to know. All right. Let's see here. Where was I at? I think I'm at number 5. All right. So there is something that we've done for the past couple mysteries, and I'm kind of surprised more people don't know more about it, but it is called a group purchasing program. So if you sew your puzzle mystery quilts with a group of people, and you get to a certain number, all these details are on the website. I should have probably put them here. But if you get together with a group of people, if you're in a guild, I know a lot of people in their guild will put the names of the colorways in a bowl and they draw one out, and that's the colorway that they're going to sew. I know there's people that get together, which is some friends that get together on Zoom and sew together. If you're in a group and you can designate one person to receive all of your clues, we'll give you a discount. So in that case, if I am meeting with 10 friends once a month, I can be our spokesperson. We will mail all 10 clues that month to me, and then I will disseminate them out to the group. We give you a discount on that because we kind of like the idea of being able to send 10 things to one person. And it also makes it easier for everyone to get everything at the same time. If you're sewing with a group, that way not one person has it or one person doesn't have it because the mail is taking a little longer to get to them. If you're sewing with a group, everyone gets it at the same time, and it goes to one person, and then they can disseminate it whenever your group meets. Plus, if it's going to one person, it's typically a bigger package that will be able to track and trace better than an individual clue. So definitely head to the website to learn more about our group purchase program. All right. And then lastly, we have our try before you buy. So if you've gotten this far and you don't know what the puzzle mystery quilt is, and you've never tried it, and you want to know what all this fuss is about, we have a try before you buy program on the website. We will send you a free half clue. And so this is, I believe I think the most recent ones are Deco Glow by Juicy Juice. But the way that it works is we will send you a half clue with instructions and pre-cut parts and pieces, and you can sew it together to see kind of what all the fuss is about. Okay, let's see here. Now we're on to the fun part, which is talking about the colorways. And so I know you guys like to, it's a mystery, but we want to make sure that we know as much as we possibly can. Oh, sorry. So yes, Paula is reminding me that one of the things we've done since the very, very, very beginning is we always give all of our detectives a gift in their clues 1, 5, and 10. And so we do that because you get clue 1 and you're so excited and you're going to open it up and sew it. And we want to make sure that you have a gift there. 5, because you've made it halfway. And then 10, because you've made it to the end. And so we always include, it's not a huge thing, but sometimes it can brighten someone's day. And so it's always comes with clue 1, 5, and 10. We actually just shipped clue 5 for Wild West. And so all of you folks should be receiving your lovely gifts in the mail because you guys are halfway. Okay, so now to the colorways. Okay, so this is the part where everyone's like, what is the most predominant? What is the least predominant? Help me pick my colorway. Please tell me what the best one is. Okay, so what I can tell you guys is I've been studying this design for a long time because I knew this question was coming. I gave you guys too much information last time. That is on me. And so now everybody wants to know what's going on. And so when I look at this design, there is not one fabric that is more predominant than the others. This is a different design. I haven't seen a puzzle mystery quilt design like this probably the whole time we've been doing this. This one is not a center medallion design, and it is not a design that radiates out from the center. So with that, I want you guys to make sure that we're all level setting expectations, that this one's going to be a little different. The colors are used in a very well balanced fashion throughout the entire design. So when you're looking at the wheel, make sure you're looking at all of the colors. What I will tell you is that fabrics C and D, and I will show you what that means in just a minute, fabrics C and D are paired together. So make sure that you like the way C looks next to D because it is used together a lot. Hold on one second. And I will also tell you that for fabric E, I'll show you that in a minute, is not going to be sewn a lot month to month, but will still have a pretty prominent position in the final design. Okay, so what does all that mean? So we have all of our color wheels online. Here, I'm gonna start with my favorite one. Yes, and so Paula's whispering to me off to the side that the design is totally brand new. She's seen it. It's not like anything she's ever seen before as well. Okay, so I am going to actually start with this one. So this one is the Cafe Facet design. It is called Flamingo. It is one of my favorites. And so this is my favorite in its finished design. But when I look at this wheel, it doesn't quite look at this because, like I said, C and D is paired together. So what does that mean? So the fabric at the 6 o'clock position is always your binding. Always, 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 since the beginning of time. This one on the bottom in the 6 o'clock position is binding. And so that's why when you look at some of the color wheels like this one, you're like, hey, these two fabrics are next to each other. Are they repeated? All this is saying is that this fabric is also used for the binding. So don't let that deceive you in that, how am I going to do this here? Don't let that deceive you in that that fabric is prominent in the design, because it is not. And so when you look at this color wheel, the 6 o'clock is always the binding. Then going clockwise around, this is A, B, C, D, E, and F. And so each color is given a letter. So that way everyone knows what A is, everyone knows what B is, everyone knows what C is. So when I say they're used together, these two prints here on the top, these orange and yellows, are going to be next to each other in your final design. And then what did I say? E, which is the next fabric over here, you will not be sewing a lot month to month. That is all I'm going to tell you about that one. So E is not going to be sewn a lot month to month. However, all the fabrics are used pretty evenly in the final design. Okay, so let's go through each of the colorways and we'll tell you kind of why it was picked. So Flamingo, this is the Cafe Facet design. This one was picked because we needed something bright. We needed something fun. And I asked Sheila to come up with something that was magenta and yellow and orange. This is what she came up with. And guys, this quilt is magenta, yellow, and orange, and it is bright. It is very like pink lemonade is kind of a popular colorway these days, and that's what this one definitely is. This next one is Drifter. And so this is the Tumbleweed collection from Art Gallery Fabric. We really, really like Art Gallery here because they will be able to supply us fabric till the end of time. And so this one has, and I talked about it a lot on Modern Maker that we had recently. This magenta, and it looks dark on the cameras, it looks better on the computer. This kind of, not magenta, excuse me, this kind of a burgundy is very, very popular. We're seeing a lot of burgundy and blue together. And this combination is very modern and young and a lot of fun. We always do a black and white. We always have since the beginning of time. Recognizing that it is hard to find quilt designs for men and teenage boys. So we always do a black and white. Now, I mean, that's not to say that the females in your life can't like black and white quilts. I don't want anyone to leave here thinking that. But we do find that a lot of the traditional block of the months tend to skew more female. And so we want to make sure that we offer colorways that you can pick to give as gifts for, you know, the non-floral females in your life. And so with that, we have Raven. And so Raven is geometric black and white. These prints, guys, they are black and white. Like it is as contrast black and white as it gets. And when we picked backings for this, we picked a lot of black and white backings. This is meant to be pure black and white when it is seen together. All right, so this one is the Cheddar and Navy. So Cheddar and Navy is a combination that is actually having a pretty big comeback of late. This is called Songbird, and it is, oh, I forget the name of this collection. It is something cheddar by Riley Blake. It's all on the website, guys. Don't take my word for it. And so in this collection, we're going to do A, B, so C and D. So these two colors here are going to go together, and this fabric right here, you're not going to be sewing a lot month to month. Let's see here. On Freebird, is the solid A more white or cream? All right, let's go back to Freebird. I haven't actually gotten to Freebird yet, so let's wait until we get to Freebird. What's that? Cheddar at Twilight, Paula is telling me. Okay. This next one is Hummingbird. And so this is Garden Delight. This is by Amber Elliott. Amber is a fantastic modern pattern designer. And so this collection, it on the camera, it looks more gray. It is definitely more green. So this orange and green, again, it feels traditional, but it is coming back into the modern scheme. And so in this case, A, B, C, and D, these two go together. And then this guy, you're not going to be using very much month to month. All right. Shibori Blues. I have been wanting to do a Shibori Blues quilt for, like, I think we're on number 18, for 18 different mysteries. I've been wanting to do a Shibori Blues. And it is always challenging to find a design that complements the lack of contrast between Shibori blue fabrics, right? So this is a Shibori blue fabric, right? So it's a lot of this like watercolor navy and blue on white. And what this design works really, really well in these, because like I said, it's balanced in design. So it's not like one will overpower the other. And so when we put all these prints together, they actually balance each other in a very harmonious blue navy quilt. And so this one's called Nightingale. And again, as I said, so these two will go together, and this one will not be used very frequently month to month. All right. I was actually just talking to someone on the phone and was talking to her about Rosefinch. And so this is Rosefinch here. It is from Riley Blake. It is a fabric collection that is designed by Melissa Gilbert from Little House on a Prairie. Hold on, there's an airplane. I'm sure you guys can hear that one. That one was really low. So designed by Melissa Gilbert from Little House on a Prairie. So she's been doing a lot of home crafts and fabric design. And this, I believe, is her first collection. This one has a lot of the dusty rose and creams that you would expect from kind of a Little House on the Prairie design aesthetic. Let's see here. Larry is saying that since there was not a red, white, and blue, had a hard time picking. So this actually, I think, is our first mystery in many, 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 where we have not had a patriotic, a Halloween, or a Christmas collection. By design, we're going to give those a little bit of a rest, and then we'll bring them back for the next mysteries. So yes, so this is designed by Melissa Gilbert for Riley Blake Fabrics. That was Rosefinch. Okay, so here's the question. Oh no, I'm actually just I'm gonna move that to the bottom. All right. Yes, Karen Schweiger saying she loves a stripe for the binding. Yes, duly noted. The binding in this one is going to be a stripe. Stripes for bindings are really, really, really lovely. All right, so this is Retro Vibes from Northcott. This collection is called Odyssey. So this one, I know I said we usually do one black and white. So this one has a lot of taupe and tan in it, which is becoming a very popular colorway. Plus, I mean, it's got these geometric elements to it. It just was really, really hard to pass up. This one, like I said, these two will go together. So there's going to be a high amount of contrast in that pair. And then this print, if it's driving you bonkers because of how it looks, you will not be sewing it a lot month to month, but it will have a presence in the final design. So this is Odyssey. Okay, we always, always, always do a purple batik. As Sean, the guy who sews, knows, we always do a purple. This one's called Starling. I don't like that the glare is not showing that print on the top, but definitely head to the website. The one print in this that is different than every other purple batik we've ever done is this little rose print right here. It is fantastically modeled in person. And so you guys have to see this one. I know we do a lot of the purple batiks, but guys, this one is definitely different than all the purple batiks we've done in the past. It's the way that the colors are balanced, and it's the contrast really between kind of these ones that are paired together and then the ones that they are not paired with that really causes the design to move in different ways. That's why when I was looking at it, trying to figure out what's more prominent than the other, this design, more than really any of the other PMQs we've done, the colorway choice makes different elements pop and different elements go to the back, because the ones that are paired can come forward at you, and then they can also come backward and something else pops to the front. So, all right. This one is called Merlot from Clockworks. We call it Crimsonette. Do not be deceived when you put this in. Crimsonette, I don't even know what that is or how it's spelled, but I'm sure Paula will put together a social media post telling us what it all is. But so this is Merlot, so red, white, and black. It is very, it's more red than you will think it is what I think I will tell you guys. It's not as black and white as it looks, but it is going to read red, white, and black. So even though there's only one red, truly red print in here, you are going to have a quilt that's going to be more black and white. Will you show the repeat of those batiks? I know the dot ones can really change with which sections you get. Yeah, so I think, so Love Loathingly is asking about the dot and the repeats. And so the beauty of these, we actually have not seen with the Hoffman batiks a lot of variability over the width of fabric when we die cut them. I know there's definitely some batiks that, depending on the modeling and depending on where you cut them at, you can hold two together and not even know they're from the same cut. We have not had that problem with Hoffman and specifically these fabrics in the past. And so I'm not super worried about being able, because it matters to you guys, right? Because if we have a model and you've got a piece that has pink and a piece that has purple, it doesn't look like the same. It matters to us because it makes it impossible for us to kit that. We can't discern them in a stack, which goes to which fabric. So we usually like to get those that are more harmonious in the batiks over the repeat. And so we have not had that problem with these fabrics. We typically, you can typically tell which fabric is which, and it does have a distinct difference from the next fabrics. Okay, so we already talked about Crimsonette. All right, then we have our Fall Fire batiks. And so these are batiks. This one's called Phoenix. Phoenix, the bird that rises from the ashes. These are our fall batiks. So it's got a lot of the orange and the yellows and the greens in it. This one's really, it's fall and it is on fire. And that's really how we came up with Phoenix as the name. This one's gonna be a lot of fun. These ones are banyan batiks. We've had a lot of good luck with banyan. And I also want to remind everyone, I'm going to do it on this one too. A, B, D, C, and D, those two guys are going to go together. Those two guys are going to go together in the final design. So you're definitely going to want to pay attention to that. And this color here, while not used a lot month to month, will have a prominent feature in the design. All right. All right, hold on. Hold on. She printed out a paper to hand it to me. Oh my God, you guys, because I said something about Crimsonette, she actually printed out the definition of what a Crimsonette is. Okay, so Crimsonette evokes imagery of migration, vibrant color, and elegance. So here's how it connects. Evoke graceful seasonal journey of crimson-toned migratory birds traveling along the flyway. Yeah, okay. I'm glad we did that. Okay, they're laughing. Let's see here. Carnival cotton candy had two colors that were sometimes hard to tell. Yes. And we feel that here, that is definitely something we try consciously to avoid, is to get two colors in the same quilt that if you die cut them, you can't tell them apart. It is going to be hard. It has been hard, and it is something we look for going forward. Okay, this last one, this is Freebird. This one's gonna be sold out fast, guys. Good news is when we talk to Free Spirit, they have thankfully a lot of these fabrics left. This is Tula Pink's latest collection, Untamed. I want you guys to take a look at the backings for this because our team has selected backings from the new collection that was just announced at market as a back for this quilt. The timing works such that we can get backings from her collection that just released for this quilt. And so you were going to want to take a look. We've got that white on white original owl that she did coming as a backing. So this is Freebird. This is Tula Pink. Same thing. These two fabrics traveling together. This fabric will not be used a lot month to month, but will have featured prominently in design. And let's see. Oh, and I was asked if this question, if this fabric here is more white or cream. It is definitely more cream. And so the cream takes down the temperature of the quilt a little bit. If it was white, you would need to wear sunglasses to look at this quilt. And I am not exaggerating when I say that. So the cream takes the temperature down a little bit, just so that way you can actually look at it and not need sunglasses, like I said. Amanda's asking, she's saying she's never sewn with batiks. Can someone share their pros and cons? If you guys can chime in with an answer, especially if you're on Facebook. We like batiks here in the shop for many, many reasons. We like them for not one reason, but we like them because there's no front and there's no back. We like them because they die cut really cleanly because they're a tighter weave of fabric. They tend to die cut very cleanly. They don't fray as much. They don't typically tend to have a problem if you need to stitch and unstitch them. They do take a hard press, which is great when you're stitching them together and ironing them. It is not great when they're coming off the bolt and we try to die cut them. So our team has to spend a lot of time ironing batiks in order to make them ready to be die cut. But once they die cut well, they kit well, they sew well, and they press well. And they do soften up over time after you wash them a couple of times, Amanda. So I hope that helps. I know we did a whole session on batiks and why batiks are awesome. So if you want to go back and look in our archive and our lives, we do talk about batiks a lot as well. All right. Paula is always prepared, they say. She is always prepared. You guys, like, she gets her steps in on these shows. She's all running around here and there and everywhere. All right. So those are the colorways. The only thing I'm going to tell you is C and D are paired together. E, you are not sewing a lot month to month, but it'll definitely be featured. Yes, only 12 colorways this time. We're doing less collections. And so, I do want to take a minute and talk about that a little bit, because I've seen some folks like, hey, you know, the colorways and whatnot. So there's a couple different things that go into selecting the colorways for a puzzle mystery quilt. And I know Jana put out a comment that a lot depends on what's available for us to choose from. And so there's a couple things. And so it has to be fabric that releases at the right time, right? So if there's a favorite designer collection that released like 3 months ago, we can't use it for this design. Because of the way the fabric industry works, they only do a certain amount of yardage of each print. And so by the time it gets to us, it's probably sold out or doesn't have a lot of. And so that's the second piece, is that it has to be fabric that we can actually get in the quantity we need. As we've said, we have 4,000 people participating in this mystery each year. And because of that, sometimes we've had to do custom print runs. So a lot of companies will do a custom print just to make sure we can get a collection for this mystery. And so we have to make sure that's timed correctly, because the last thing we want to do is get to month 4 and then a custom print is going to be 2 to 3 months late, and we're not going to be able to continue the mystery. And so we do some custom print runs. We've definitely done that before. We have companies we do that with and trust. It has to be timed correctly. And then most importantly, it has to look good with the design. And so what that means is it has to be prints that are at the right scale to be die cut. We've already talked a little bit about batiks and how some of the ombres can fluctuate and give you different fabrics depending on where you die cut it. Sometimes if it's a print this big, a lot of Tula Pinks are this big. We can't die cut that, guys. You're going to end up with a dinosaur ear and it's not going to be super exciting. We have done animals, die cut animals on a smaller scale, and we had a lot of unicorn butts that we were die cutting and sending out to people, and it was all over our Facebook group. People loved getting the unicorn butt in their die cut, but it has to be a design that's compatible with die cutting at the scale that we're die cutting. Donna's asking, did we show flamingo? We did. I will pop that up. Flamingo was the first one we did. Let's see here. Doop-a-doop-a-doop. There's flamingo. Okay. So a lot of things go into choosing the fabrics. Plus, you know, we're limited to kind of what is released at the time. And so designer fabrics are a lot like fashion, and there's trends and things ebb and flow. Like I can tell you right now, if I was to look for a pure green collection, I'm not going to find it. Pure green is a color that is not on trend. It is not part of what designers are designing with now. Everyone's doing aqua teal and, you know, the lighter bluesies, like a bluey green, but they're not necessarily doing a lot of traditional green fabrics. And so that's really hard for us to find. If I wanted to do a green design, we would not be able to find the fabrics to support that. So there's a lot of constraints for what we do. I'm actually very happy with these quilts that we've designed. Like I said, I was going through all of them, even just earlier today. And depending on those fabric choices, you could have two that on a wheel look very similar, but just moving everything, just rotating everything one position, and it completely changes the final design. That happens every time, guys. Every time when we see the final design, we're like, it looks like it's a different design just based on the colorway. So my suggestions for you as you're looking for a colorway to pick or multiples is just what sings to you. What are you going to be happiest sewing for 10 months, right? This is a 10-month commitment. It's like a long-ish relationship, if you will, with this fabric. So pick a fabric that sings to you, pick colors that you like and that are going to make you happy to open each month. Or if you're picking for someone else, think about what fabrics they would like and what would sing with them. And I think you're going to be fine, and it's going to be fun, and you're going to get to the end. And I've had a lot of people, when they get to the end, if they don't like it, it's perfectly acceptable to donate it. It is great to give it away to people. Let's see here. Don't forget to be ready to order your backing, your binding, and your oops kits. Don't forget to like and share, gang. Everyone have a great week, and we will see you soon. And cut. Thank you so much for watching our video. We have so much fun making these, and we hope that you were both delighted and inspired by what you just watched. This video was sponsored by Cotton Cuts. Cotton Cuts is your one stop for all the best fabric and thread memberships. Love fabric? We've got you covered. Love thread? We've got you covered. We get that no two quilters are cut from the same cloth, which is why our memberships are as unique as you. We also have the largest block of the month in the world. Over 4,000 detectives solve our puzzle mystery quilts every year, and you can join them. Simply go to cottoncuts.com to learn more about all the awesome and fun things that we're doing. And don't forget to hit like and subscribe to make sure you get all of our new fresh content every time it comes out. Thank you so much. Happy sewing enthusiasts, and we will see you soon. Bye now.